This is TWiT.
These two look very similar, don't they? But one is an iPad and one is a Chromebook. This is the first Chromebook tablet, the Acer Chromebook Tab 10, exactly the same size, 9.7 inches as the iPad. It's a little higher resolution, 2046 by 1535, but the real difference is, of course, that the iPad is running iOS. This is running Chrome OS. Now, I would guess that you're a happy Chrome OS user since you've got the original Pixelbook right there in front of you. Let me close a few. And
also, with the later builds of Chrome OS, now that you can run Android apps within Chrome OS.
I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Chrome OS is really becoming the operating system for education, and that's what this Chrome tablet is aimed at. It's specifically for the K through 12 market. In fact, I don't know how we got one, because you're not supposed to be able to buy it unless you're in education. They're going to end up charging $329 for this. Now remember that the Chromebooks go as low as $200, maybe even a little bit less, or as high as like your Pixelbook here is $1,000. But $329 is about right, I think. This is the same processor. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm confusing it. The Pencil is on the iPad. This is the Chromebook. This is the same processor is in Google's it's a Google processor, design processor, the OP1. It's a system on a chip from Rockchip. It's the same one as in the Chromebook Plus, which I thought was pretty responsive. Felt pretty good. I liked it a lot.
The build quality looks good. It feels nice and sturdy.
It's a little thick, though. I mean, to compare it to an iPad, this is a fairly, but you know, it's for education. Let me give you some of the specs. Dual channel, 4 gigabytes, which is more than an iPad. DDR3 RAM. The iPad is optimized, to be fair, for lower memory, and iOS does a very good job with I think it's 1 gigabyte in the iPad, maybe 2 in the newer ones. 32 gigs of eMMC storage. That's a lot for a Chromebook. And of course, with the micro SD card slot, you can store more. But really, Chromebooks have always been designed not to store stuff on board.
No.
Because you want to be able to power wash it. Yeah, and kids will be using Classroom. They'll be using Google Google stuff, the Google Drive apps and so forth. How do I get out of?
And admins love these devices because they're so easy to set up.
They're great for a network.
And get rid of.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of impressive. It does have a stylus. So you notice that the Apple Pencil is kind of a sit on top of pretty elaborate, expensive device.
The number of people I've met who've lost that pencil is just
very easy. This one's built in. The stylus is built in. And there are more and more stylus-focused apps. I think for a student, a stylus is important for taking notes, for drawing. Of course, you could add a third-party Bluetooth keyboard, but this does not come with a keyboard. It has a 2-megapixel front camera. And what I like about this is it's got a rear camera, 5 megapixels. One of the things I see students do a lot with their iPads is make movies, take pictures. And so the ability to do that on this is a really great thing. The stylus is a Wacom EMR stylus, so it doesn't need a battery. It doesn't need to be charged. I don't know why Signal keeps popping up there. Let's go back to Chrome.
The only thing I think this is missing is a keyboard. You know, a clip-on keyboard or something along those lines, because you do need that, I think, if you're a school kid.
It's an interesting conundrum for school because the iPad designed for school, you know, this iPad has a hardware, it's not Bluetooth, it has a hardware connector. The iPad designed for schools doesn't have this smart connector. But because schools don't want kids using Bluetooth, especially in classrooms during testing, they had to have a special system for connecting the keyboard on the iPad for school. I don't know if this has a special system for that. I presume that the way the Chromebook works is with a Bluetooth keyboard, and that's going to be an issue. So we'll have to investigate that a little bit more. USB 3.1C connector for charging and data and display. You can even run a display on it. It's got a regular headset jack and a micro SD card. Big battery, 8860 milliamp hours. That means they say about 9 hours battery life. Comparable, maybe a little bit less than an iPad.
That'll get you through a school day.
So what's interesting is you can now get an iPad for school for less than $329, but it's roughly $299 the education market, but it's roughly the same. I bet you can get discounts, similar discounts on this. I want to know more about this, so we're going to assign Jason Howell, our Android guy.
And a very good tester.
And our Chrome guy and a great tester, as you just saw. We're going to give this to him. This is the Acer Chromebook Tab 10. I wanted to give you a first look at it. It's a nice screen. I think there's a lot to be said for it. I'm not sure I want a tablet with my Chromebook. I want a good keyboard.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of kids might.
You see, without a keyboard, a tablet is basically a consumption device. You need a keyboard if you're going to be creating stuff.
And that's what I find interesting. This is clearly priced at and aimed at the iPad.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Chrome OS really should be a tablet OS. I think it really should be a laptop OS, right? So Jason will have a review and let you know in a little bit more detail. We just got this a couple of days ago. I just wanted to show it to you while we could. This is the Acer Chromebook Tab 10 for education.